I want to talk to you about one of the clips that you did where you talked about BLM a couple of years ago. Got a lot of eyeballs, and I want to read this article to you from BLM Finances Under Fire. Only 33% of donations given to charities as execs paid millions of dollars. This is an article that came out just a couple months ago. Black Lives Matter finances are under scrutiny once again as tax documents show the nonprofit is on the brink of bankruptcy. The organization ended last year in red while doling out millions to those close to BLM founders. Following the murder of George Floyd in 2020, supporters donated a staggering $90 million to Black Lives Matter. This nonprofit ended the fiscal year with $9 million in deficit. Okay, how do you do that? I don't know. The federal filings from 2020 to 2022 shows just a third, $30 million of the $90 million, went to other charitable organizations, with $22 million going to expenses. This includes a $1.6 million that went into the father of BLM co-founder Patrice Cullors for security services, another $2.1 million to BLM board member Shalomia Bowers for consulting. So this thing had so much momentum that you couldn't watch a basketball game without BLM being all over the place on the floor. You couldn't watch a football game. You couldn't watch anything without this being everywhere. And God forbid if somebody said all lives matter instead of Black Lives Matter, they would get ousted. They would get, how dare you say such a thing like that, all lives matter. One, why do you think got so much momentum? And two, now that everybody realizes it was a fraud, are these people going to be held accountable? What do you think should happen?
No, they won't. They won't be held accountable. But again, I must say that progressives have a ground game. George Soros knows what he want to do with Ferguson is rent a rioter. 51 of the people arrested for rioting in Ferguson, only one was from Ferguson. Soros and other people know that you got to have a ground game. You got to have a George Floyd. And once you have that, they invest. And I'm saying those of us who believe in the foundational principles of the country, we must encourage people then to invest in organizations and institutions, civic institutions that extol who extol the virtues of the country. Like the Pineywood School. That school should not be struggling for money. It should be well-funded. The same people who are writing checks to them should be looking for opportunities to write checks to organizations who support the values that they say they believe in, but they don't do it. They'll spend $100 million for political campaigns, and the amount of money that we invest in something confers validation on it.
The amount of money we spend on something confirms the validation on it?
Confers validation. Just as the left believes that America is racist and therefore the George Floyds of this world symbolizes that we need to have symbols on our side, like the Pineywood School, like these other organizations that the Woodson Center, Voices of Black Mothers United. We must get people to invest in organizations that reflect the values of the nation as much as the other side invests. But it has to do with where we invest.